Micah, what do you think about this one? My man, what do you think about that one? You like that one, my dear one? That is a honker. That is a crystal. Yep. That's huge. Huge. Good day, everyone. It's a pleasure to always sit down and talk with you, to help you with your cases. What'd you think of that one? That was a big crystal, wasn't it? I have a good friend planting those babies around the world. Beautiful mandala. These are meditation devices that you can use. There are all kinds of beautiful ones to focus on or to unfocus on, if you will. I suppose you could say, though, that the detached state is the one you have to consciously develop. Consciously. You have to consciously become conscious. I don't know how to say it anyway. There is no... You can use tools and things, of course, but ultimately you have to butt up against yourself, your own awareness. And that's what you have to examine, is your awareness. And or it's journeys and having fun and traveling from incredible, beautiful cities to learning centers on different levels of the playing fields out there. We have a multi-billion-dollar industry that is killing people, right and left, just for financial gain. Their idea of research is to see whether 2 doses of this poison is better than 3 doses of that poison. Signed, Glenn Warner, MD, oncologist. Now, if you think I'm radical, that's about as radical as you can get in terms of saying what their mindset is behind that. The cancer treatment scam known as chemotherapy has been shown in scientific studies to cause rather than to cure cancer. Understand what cancer is. Damaged cells. How do you damage a cell? Well, there's only 2 sides of chemistry. Pick one. You'll be half right. And that plays with the one I told you earlier about chemotherapy. Treated cancer patients die sooner than no treatment at all. And that goes on and on and on. And then here's a good one. Study finds chemotherapy ineffective 97% of the time. You know, I did see somewhere where oncology truly only has 3% success. And I know that the Treatment Cancer Centers of America claim they have a 5 to 6% success. So let's reverse that thinking. 97% of the people that enter chemotherapy die. 97%. These are my facts. These are all recorded studies and all that. How come people aren't informed of these before they make an informed decision to use chemo, or before you as loved ones force your loved ones into taking it and then attending their funeral? You know, it's important that these things get out here. 97%. Well, that was back when 3%. They might have a 5% success rate now. 5. Radiation therapy. The shocking truth the cancer industry doesn't want you to know, of course, and this is... Radiation is always known to cause cancer. Anybody that would not align themselves with that ain't with it. Everything from cell phone radiation, I mean, we got radiation everywhere. And let me say this, accumulation, 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 accumulative effects. Man doesn't think about that, but of course he might. It's just the way they get around that. I don't see where killing millions of people is worth the money when it's bad karma. I wouldn't want to pay for karma like that. But it's sad when it's the kids, the slaughtering of our kids. And that's just what's going on. And you think, I'm strong. I think this oncologist is pretty strong. And of course, he's showing you a bag of chemo, which has the extreme hazardous warning sign on it, causes death. So these are just some of the things man's facing out here. Now, let me see. I want to read this one. I just read the first part of it because they handed me this one, and I thought this is pretty good. Let's look at this here. This is from Yam. And he says, the more I watch Dr. Morse's videos, I begin to think he is a bit narrow-minded in his views. Even if humans once lived in the tropics, the amount of fruits and vegetables would not be enough in nature to satisfy the human diet. Wouldn't you think? So what does that mean to you, Yam? What would have to happen, right? What would have to happen? We would have to start growing more fruit and vegetable orchards, wouldn't we? Wouldn't that be fun? Matter of fact, it would create a whole new industry, wouldn't it? How about those pyramid greenhouses? I like those, yeah. Apes eat a variety of fruits, but also tons of leaves. You have to depend where they are. If you're talking about the apes that we've shoved up into the mountains because we've been clearing the land below for cattle raising, those apes, absolutely, trying to starve, trying to eat anything they can to survive, and there are those primates. Fruits always are number one. Orangutans are exclusively frugivores because they're located in tropical areas of that. So I can't imagine the natural human diet being so limited. Now, you have a view of limitation. I don't. I look at the fruit and berry and melon kingdom as a huge kingdom of food. We can also add veggie fruits, which is all your tomatoes and cucumbers and those sort of things. And if you just have to have some veggies, well, who cares, right? Which he proposes. I do agree with many of his views. He is obviously extremely educated in his field, but I don't buy some of the things he says. I've been vegan, all right, and I've been vegan and also high raw and high fruit, okay? Now, today I am a vegetarian and have started to eat more raw milk products. Well, that's where I went wrong. That's exactly where I went wrong. You're returning back, Yam, to where you were. And you're going to toxify your body back up because I don't care who you are, where you are, dairy proteins are mucus forming and it just fills the body full of mucus. So you're going back to the way you were. The same diet that made man sick, you're going back there because you claim you feel better. And I claim that if you do, you're not healthy. Because anybody, and any of you YouTubers know this, that once you go on a raw food program, not saying that you're going to live on a raw food program, I have never said those things. And if you listen closely to what I'm saying, then you'll know I don't say those things. If you could, that would be Cool Hand Luke. I mean, look at the YouTubers that have went 4 or 5 years on juices and things like this. You know, sometimes it takes a while to get your health back. He's going in raw milk products, mainly from goats, naturally. I know Dr. Jensen and Marie were so full of mucus from their goat milk drinking. Also, he's going back to eggs. He feels better. Yeah, it's the old protein kick. I also incorporate more grains and beans and legumes into my diet. So, my friend, you're going back to an acidic diet. And you claim it makes you feel better, but I submit to you you're not healthy to begin with. If you were, you can't go back to those foods. I'm only one of tens of thousands of us that know what reality is. Been there, done it, am on it, and there's no way a raw foodist can go to this type of, a healthy person can go to this type of diet and stay healthy. You're fooling yourself, Yam. No offense, but you've got to rethink that. But you know what? When you get sick again, know what made you well. Go back to your raw foods. I personally think the bulk of genetic mutations and those inborn diseases in humans have been caused by the industrialization of foods and GMO crops, alongside, of course, with the daily use of chemicals in the form of cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, meat, milk, and eggs. Wait a minute, you're eating eggs, milk, and meat. The only thing is, they're just not so bizarrely raised, but it's still the same thing. I agree that egg hormones and stuff like that. Plants today, including fruits and veggies, have become demineralized, and the vast majority of crops are now GMOs. This is the problem in my eyes. Well, it's not the problem everywhere, my friend, and we're on this. Matter of fact, I hope you all will become part of this huge association that we want, this global association, because we want to deal with GMOs, at least proper labeling, and go after that sort of thing. But with that said, these aren't the foods of man, my friend. And you can, hem-haw and bitch and yell and do whatever, but these aren't the foods your body's designed to eat. Your body's totally a frugivorish body, a primate-ish body. And yeah, we can pick up some veggies here and there, we can pick up some cheats here and there, but too much of what you're going to do will send you right back to Hellville. You might not notice it for a little while, but you will, and you're on stimulants again. Sounds like your adrenals are down, and you might need to work on those. Overall, I believe that a whole food diet, also participate in juice, water fasting to cleanse and heal genetics and regenerate our cells, is the key to health. I want to go back to what he said here about genetic mutations. There's only one basic side of chemistry that we can blame, to keep it simple, for genetic mutations, and that's the acid side of chemistry. There are some chemicals that you consume that can damage cells, no question about that. However, there's a lot of protection between the blood and between the cell, and that is the lymphatic system. So you have a lot of lipid protection there for that. However, what's the other big area of acids that you're not mentioning here? And that is from the cell itself, cellular wastes. These are acids, and this is what really mutates the cell. Most cells are damaged by their own acids, but there's no question that the air is so acidic. The one video we just did of coming back from the mountains told you how acidic the water is. Took the toenail polish off of my daughter-in-law. I mean, it's wild. Just because he says eat fruit all day long is the key does not mean he is right. Well, let me say, my friend Yim, I think I have a lot more experience than you do in detoxifying and healing people, I'll tell you that. So this is the way you go to do it. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I don't care. But this is the way we've done it, and we have a reputation behind us, which I don't think you do, for this sort of thing. So I don't say it just because it's an idea or a philosophy, although you can trace it back and take a look at it, and there's no question that it's truth. He's just demonizing all food. No. Go check out Dan Dada videos on deep look into diet and fast. No, really. Give me a break. You always go to these people who don't know crap about health. They don't know how to get people out of these deep, dark holes that they're in, and you guys want to go chasing rainbows. Go ahead, Dan. Chase the rainbow of this guy all you want to do. We're into true healing and regeneration. We have so much evidence that your statement is not even intellectual. I don't know. Enough to say, yeah, but when you get sick, go on a fruit diet, fruit, berries, and melons, and detoxify yourself. Then if you want to add some vegetables and green drinks to balance yourself out, because you're probably going to need that level, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, if you want to cheat on a starch or cheat on something, but to claim that they're healthy, there's nothing healthy about them. Anyway, this is Good Morning Attila. Oh, this is for YouTube. This is Alex. I'm also sending you some information about the Select, which I have been using for a few months. They are saying, I don't know how this got in there, but Alex, I'll look that up. Eyes. Hello, Doc. Could you perhaps do an iris analysis of my eyes? I am a 20-year-old male, 5'7". I have some bone, let's say, anomalies along my body. My rib cage is asymmetric, and so is some of my facial bones, including my nose. Both the septum and the bony base of the nose. Oh, really? Nothing too extreme. Also, I am very curious as to what glands can stunt height growth other than the pituitary. For example, could a weak parathyroid alone stunt growth even if the pituitary is in good health? That's a good question, Nick. You know what? I can't say. I could say that my guess would be to some extent. Because if you're not utilizing calcium, you hear this common problem in children that they call growing pains. You know, I mean, this is typical AMA crap. Growing pains. Well, growing pains is not natural. What's going on here? And then you find the parathyroid and low calcium utilization. You might be right on to that. Now let's take a look. This is your eyes. Let's take a look here at the young man, Nick. All right, this is Nick's right eye. Good picture, Nick. Good picture. Now, what color eye am I looking at? And what color should it be? Blue. It's green-brown. When you see a hazel eye, that's a green-brown eye or a green-orange eye. It's always, when someone says hazel, you know immediately there's going to be brown right around the pupil or orange. Now, what would brown signify? And let's put it this way first. What tissues wrap around the iris? The GI tract. The stomach immediately around the pupil, and the small and large bowels wrap around the pupil. So, immediately, this young man is chronic in his GI tract. And yes, you have a chronic pituitary and pineal gland, my friend. Means I don't know how well you sleep. These are called radii solar. So we talked about this on the last video, I think. These black lines that go up, emanate up. Take a look at those black lines that emanate up. Now, I don't have any help to focus in on these. I apologize for that. This is Sunday here, and no one works on a Sunday but me. Now, I got some weakness in the frontal lobe with that. It's a transverse colon that's mainly involved here with weaknesses, but you have it all around the pupil. So you want to kind of work on that. I think it affects some of the right ear. You actually have it up toward the mastoid and medulla and cerebellum, which could give you some equilibrium issues, my friend. Knee, right knee, part of the femur is also involved there, appendix, groin, and hip as well. So that's sneaking up on you. You got to be careful. Now, you might have a little pancreatic boot here and a gallbladder boot. It wouldn't hurt you to clean out your liver and gallbladder a little bit. You got good genes, though. You got nerve rings, and you got a skin ring. And your eyes should be blue, so that shows you a lot of lymph. And you see your blue eyes through your nerve rings. So you're looking at your adrenal glands. They're not, if I say they're chronic, it's on the light side of chronic, but they are involved, and of course so is the autonomic nervous system now. So your family has been dealing with this weakness for a long time. Now you have autonomic nerve weakness, and it slices through the lungs and stuff. So I don't know if you had asthma when you were young, but this is what it can give you. Pretty much the same thing on your left side, bro. You've got pituitary involved here. When I get to the the parathyroid gland, there's a tad bit of that as well. So you kind of got both of these things addressing you. Not so much thyroid, but definitely you can count on parathyroid and pituitary. So I'd address those with glandulars, no question, because they're in the chronic side. You want to wake them up a little bit. Also gives you a little chronic bronchial trunk there, a little mid-back going on there. Maybe a tad bit of bladder as well, but where you pick it up, you got a weak left leg, but I pick it up at left groin, left hip, and maybe a little left testicle. But on top of that, you got good genes, man. You just got to get into those bowels and clean them up. Cut this feed to the head off. Get up here with upper circ and brain and nerve for a while. Enhance your nervous systems through your brain and nerve formulas, upper circulation, but also through the adrenal glands. You're going to have to work on your adrenal glands for a while. Kidneys, not too bad. You might be not filtering or something, because your eyes definitely should be blue, and they're green. And that's lymph. That's all lymph. But pretty good. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the words resonate with me so much, and I am so great. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm a 24-year-old female, and my health journey started over a year ago when I became vegetarian. I became vegan almost 3 months ago, and I've been eating mainly fruits all day long for the past 6 months. I'm having several issues that I want to resolve, and I was hoping you could help me a little. I included several eye pictures, so I would love it if you could take a quick look at them. I know you don't do iris analysis, that's okay. I don't know if the green has been there all my life, but I think they are turning more green since I started to eat this much fruit. Do you think it's possible that I might actually have blue eyes? But I'm wondering, why was I born with brown eyes and my younger sister with bright blue eyes? Well, that's possible. I mean, it just depends. I mean, I don't know. There's some geneticists that think they can figure this out, and maybe that's true, but somewhere in the family they can. Well, let's take a look and see if they're truly brown. She had to inherit the same weak genetics from my parents. Well, yeah, but some can pick up more dad, more grandma, grandpa on dad's side, or we go over to mom. You might pick up more mom than her. You know, there's always those sort of things. Do you know why this is? I do have blue eyes. If I do have blue eyes, I'm determined to let the brown disappear. I would be too. Let me see. These are several other issues I'm experiencing. Could you recommend which herbs I should take? So before I read that, let's see what we can see on the eye first. It's always the test. All right. Flashlight. No got. You know, sweetheart, I'm going to have to tell you, you're going to have to give me a better picture for the color. I can say that it is a strong possibility you have blue eyes. Or you have very light brown eyes. One of the two. Very hard with this picture. There's some spots where I'm thinking, maybe blue. And there's other spots that look like real light brown. I'll say this, if you have brown eyes, they're very, very light. They're almost this color where my finger is. But one thing that sticks out real predominantly, sweetheart, is your GI tract wall, is the wall of your small and large intestines. I'm going to put my finger right where there's some issues you need to think about. And also look at the thickness of your bowel wall. I don't know if you guys can see this or if I'm too close. I have no idea. It's enough to say you're extremely malabsorbed. You have thick lymph backed up in the wall, the bowel here, and that's real important to deal with. You've got a right knee, a right femur, and a big-time right hip. So that femur going into the hip and all that, that's all genetically involved there. Also, I'll say this, I definitely think the gallbladder is involved here. Maybe the pancreas, I don't know, but definitely the gallbladder, the arm here, the elbow, part of the upper rib cage here, some throat weakness going on here, a tad bit of thyroid. You need better pictures where you don't have, you've got a window or light behind you and your eyes reflecting that. So it's you need to be in a dark room. Look at the video that Marcy and Jen did. It's just really perfect. These are good, but you got too much reflection, and therefore I can't see the actual color. But it sure looks like blue to me. I need a better picture to tell you that. And the reflection is an area I can't see, and you might want to pull up some more. You got a couple spots in the head area you'd want to fix. Also, there is either pituitary or pineal or both. When you get up to the tonsils, the thyroid, the throat, you got several weaknesses up in that, and maybe in some upper neck on the right side. Again, the same thing with the left eye. You just have this reflection. It would have been pretty good had it been for the reflection. I'll say you this, honey. You've got to get up in the head, get your sinuses drained, get all this lymph moving, get your kidneys filtering, because on the left side you have more involvement in the head area. So you got a lot of involvement here from probably the mastoid into the cerebellum. This is going to be equilibrium, dizziness. It's going to give you a lot of problems if you're not careful. I'm looking at left ear, maybe even impacting left shoulder here. Pituitary, definitely going on here with pineal, transverse colon. Got to get in and really fix your bowels, because now it's just, I want to say blue, but I need a better picture because you could have light brown. But around your bowels, real thick with lymph. I'll say this, your groin, your leg on the left side, your groin on the left side, your hip on the left side is also involved. So you got bilateral hip issues, groin issues, and leg issues. And during a detox, you're probably going to feel these. So you just have to work through it and start regenerating this weakness. I'd say it probably wouldn't hurt to get into your spleen a little bit for a while. Adrenals are chronic on the left side, a little kidney weakness, you got to get that cleaned up as well. Bladder, part of the bladder is chronic. The wall of the bladder is backed up. You have genetic weakness in the bladder, especially on the left wall. The lymph is backed up in the wall. That's interstitial cystitis. You've got some very chronic areas of the bladder that you want to deal with. The uterus looks lymphatically chronic, but still not as involved as the bladder. Could have a spot even in the vaginal wall. We'll have to take a look at that some other time. Again, more mid-back, tonsils, that sort of thing. A lot of lymph in the parathyroid and a little bit of a weakness in the thyroid here. So she says, goes on here, she has frequent urination. Well, you've got to deal with that bladder. And it's coming at you, so you really want to focus on your urinary tract, your adrenal glands, get your lymph moving, honey, because you've got to get this chronicness out of the bowel. I'm going to say that you want to get the brown out. Frequent urination, I'm guessing this is kidneys and bladder, +1 should, yeah. I'm going to say probably, yeah. I'm going to say a little more bladder than kidneys, though, myself. Yeah, I mean, you got a little spot or so in the right kidney, but I'm thinking you got more bladder issues. And you could have a prolapsus. You never know what in that shape it is. +1, should mention that I'm starting to filter a little bit after months of increasing my fruit consumption. That's key, guys. And yeah, let me say this. Hope you're filtering. You know, because this is really vital information for everyone out there. The only herbs I've been taking are some herbal teas for kidneys and bladder from the health food store. Yeah, if you're in a place and you can afford to get on our 14-week protocol, I highly recommend it. It's hard to see, but I don't see too many nerve rings, so that's a big plus for you. Red spider veins, broken capillaries on the base of and around my nostrils. Don't know the cause, doesn't matter. I'd still work on my parathyroid. Remember the cause, if you want to keep life simple, and you wanted to be right 99% of the time, the cause is always acidosis and lymphatic system problems. And it takes you right back to the kidneys and adrenal glands, which breaks down when you use too much of a protein in your diet. So when you go back to grains and beans and dairy products, guess what's going to keep breaking down on you? Yeah, I'd say. So important to really look at this, sweetheart. I'd work on my parathyroid just a tad bit, but you still have a pituitary that's chronic that I see. Underdeveloped breasts, and again, I would go to the pituitary, but also to the adrenal glands. I would do my female reproductive formula for a few months. That'll pop up your pituitary. If your menses is irregular, it'll pull it into balance there. It'll bring your breast size up a little bit here. It'll bring you into balance. And if your breasts need to grow, they will do that. We've had that many times. So, but got to work on that parathyroid and thyroid. I see that as two big issues here. I'm guessing these are my adrenal glands plus my pituitary. Smart lady, I like that. Ooh, I like smart people. You guys are the best out there. And I'm not just saying that. You learn this. And I'm telling you, you can cure anything, anywhere. It's so much fun. Instead of wallowing in the sewage of diseases and things that nobody understands, and it's all made up believe world anyway. Understand reality, what your body is, what it's designed to eat, that sort of thing. Just because we've had generations of eating outside of that realm does not change a thing. And if you think adaptation is part of the human body, take a look at where we are at the condition of the human cell. And it's all, whether you're neurotoxins, excitotoxins, doesn't matter, they're all acids for the most part. Add that. Oh, I'm also really small, 5'3". Boom, gotcha. Pituitary, big time, honey. Yeah, you got to work on that. How old are you? 20? 24, I would be working on my growth factors. I'd be working on my pituitary and my parathyroid, absolutely. Can I resolve my underdeveloped breast by diet and herbs? Absolutely. I have also, and I wonder about your height. You never know. I mean, it is cool to see the human body regenerate after years and years down. So you never know. You know, men might find that unusual. We're so dumbed down as humans in the human experience that we lost our belief in anything that's possible. And that's why everybody's so dumbed down. It's the negative forces. Don't let the negative forces control you or dumb you down. Talk to the head, the face isn't listening. I'm free. I'm free of the mind. I'm now able to observe and enjoy life outside of my mind. If I need my mind to go find me something, I'll send it to go do that. If I follow my mind constantly, I'm lost in my thoughts. Some of them are too good. So, you know, it's just that sort of thing. I have had low self-esteem because of my whole life. Well, honey, you know, you've got your adrenals down. You've got some things down, and I can see why you have that. But I say also that parathyroid, you want to work on that one. And don't worry about breast size. One of the things that I'm a stickler on is those guys out there that want women to have big breasts, get over that. I mean, a woman is a woman no matter what size or whatever. And to have my younger son had his first wife put implants in. You know, and I couldn't stop him. That was just the way it is. But she did have small breasts, and it's like, well, I understand that. Work on your pituitary and see if you can. We've had a lot of cases call in where women have verified that their breasts have increased with that. And I think that would be important for your monthly cycles, your menses, because that controls your monthly cycles, and that can go out of whack. You can get excessive bleeding with pituitary problems. So, yeah, it's a big deal here, and your body needs to clean up. You need to absorb your food properly. You're not absorbing your food properly. You've got quite a bit of chronic lymph involved here. So, I don't know, we'll see. Get me a clearer picture without the light reflection and real clear, and I'll tell you what color eyes you got. It's possible they're real light brown, though, but we'll see. If so, which herbal formula should I take for this? And is it possible to still grow in height an inch or two at my age? Well, I'm hoping it is. Because we had an older lady with spinal bifida. I mean, I think she was in her 20s or 30s, born without L4 and L5, and on this program she grew L4 and L5. Miraculous. But that goes to show you, I don't know what's not possible and what's possible on these high energetic nutritional diets. I've seen all kinds of regeneration take place, and it's like, you know, I've had a lot of oh my God moments in my life, and just amazing to see that. But then you start to realize, well, we're dumbed down. You know, just because medical doctors are lost in their world of diseases and they can't cure anything, and at least let alone regenerate tissue, they don't even know what type of diet man should be eating. We can't live in that world anymore. You got to break away from that world, because that is a nowhere place world. It's a killing machine beyond no other. And it's not just me saying these things. You know, I just read you a top oncologist viewpoint of that, and he's not alone. And he's one of the guys, thank God, that got his karma right, because I'm telling you, this isn't good. You reap what you sow here. And I'm just saying that for those souls involved. You want to grow and have some, you know, have a more interaction with God and nature, and that's on all levels. The amount of fun and ecstasy and joy is immeasurable. You can't measure that. Here, the joy is hard to get. In the higher worlds, it's naturally there. I've also been really skinny all my life. Well, malabsorption big time. Let me tell you, it was always very hard for me to gain weight, and you can see why. Since eating healthier, I lost even more weight, and you're going to be skinny. Remember, we talk about this. Remember, this is old Ian's plight here. Got skinny, but now look at him. I mean, you know, and see, you're just going to get down like that. And there's no, people have to understand, you can't fix something of malabsorption and keep on weight until we fix it, because you can't even put on weight as it is. So how do you put on weight on a diet like this that's in the process of fixing something? But you have to understand what malabsorption is. And if you don't understand what malabsorption is, then you don't know how to fix it. This is the problem. If you don't understand what causes anything, you can't fix them. And sometimes it takes a little while to get into a higher level of health. You have to work through things sometimes. So be careful when you go back to things, because that's what I did, and it kicked my ass bad. So be careful, young man. My face looks gaunt, and probably two reasons: parathyroid and malabsorption. So you got to fix yourself. No matter what you look like, sweetheart, you burn through this and get your bowels. Use that GI broom. Get yourself on a 14-week program, or as much as you can afford. Go down that road. You know the kidneys are essential, the GI tract's essential, your glands are essential, your lymphatic is essential. You got 4 essentials beyond anything else that you need to work on. And there's enough going on up here. You got to get the head to detox, sweetheart, and then get an upper circumbrain nerve, and you could do that early on, because you're heading for some things up here that might not be too good. You've got a lot of setup for MS. You don't have the nerve rings so much, but you've got the cerebellum, you've got the brain areas that possible can create lesions in the future, if not already. So you've got the setup here, so you want to be real careful. So this is some of the tips you get yourself out of this with, and you'll get yourself back and healthy. But you definitely want to work on the pituitary and the parathyroid. I would still work with the pituitary first with the female reproductive formula, and then maybe shift to a glandular. But that female reproductive formula will tone the female organs as well. And it's a good thing for females to be on. I love that formula, blue ribbon formula. Again, caution. If you're on birth control pills taking the female reproductive formula, it's possible to get pregnant. So be careful. Others have gotten pregnant while on birth control with the female reproductive formula. It's that powerful. So caution. I've also been really skinny. I am especially skinny in my upper body, but not so much in the legs. They are quite short and firm. It is just the way I'm built. Well, work on your, you got it all down. Malabsorption, you know exactly what's up. I have low libido. Well, work on the female organs, the adrenals, but work on the thyroid as well. When the thyroid's down, it lowers women's libidos. I have had myopia since I was 15. It has gotten worse over the past few years. My left eye, minus 3.50, is worse than my right eye, minus 2.75. I know this is probably congested lymph in my head. Chronic congested lymph. That's a big deal, sweetie. You got to get that out of there. It's completely dark brown in color, and there is more green only at the bottom. You got exactly. See how nice it is? I mean, it may not be fun to read your eyes for the first time. It wasn't for me either, but it was enough to say that learning how to look at your body is fun. No one can lie to you. You don't have to count on these toxic machines, these radiation machines. You can see in the eye just what's up. You know, you've got only a few systems to work on. The body isn't endless in its systems. You only have a few systems. It's a machine. You're the living consciousness. Your body's a machine. You're not, but this is a conscious machine in certain ways, because every cell has consciousness. Everything has consciousness. Even machines have consciousness. I remember, when it was more of a meditator and really getting that energy going, my cars would last and last and last. And when you trade them in, they fall apart. They had dealt with so much energy. But you're right. You're so right all the way on this. I would use the eye wash topically and internally, but moving lymph is going to be the key, but also enhancing your brain and nervous systems. The central and the autonomic nervous systems. The autonomic more through the adrenal glands, and then you're up in the central nervous system and part of the parasympathetic here. And working on that with the brain and nerve formulas are super, super good. And upper circuit, so many neat things you can do. Well, these go to this. To fix this, there's more pages. Well, let me see. This is really long, so is this sulfur? there is a hint of orange somewhere in there. If you look at your left eye, approximately around 8 o'clock, it looks like there's some orange. The only thing I can tell you with these brown eyes is if you poop orange or pee orange, there is sulfur there, but the brown isn't all sulfur. That's almost worse, chronic lymph. I have dark hair and split ends. Is this due to acidosis? Absolutely. The corners of my mouth are often torn, dry mouth. That's what acids do. It dries you out, dehydrates you, and you start cracking and bleeding. It does the hands, it does the mouth, everywhere, everywhere. Imagine inside you. And then you get these bleeds, capillary bleeds. Let me see here. I cut even her tongue. I have had lower back pain for years. You're guessing these are the kidneys. Yep, and bladder. I have to say that your bladder is a little bit of a bigger deal than the kidney, sweetie. I have had eczema in the past, and now, yeah, you see the skin ring around your eye there. When I take a warm shower, my chest, stomach, back, neck, and arms are covered in red, itchy patches. Well, you're full of fungus. You know, get the fungus out of you, use a parasitic or some antifungal, but at the same time, detoxify your lymph, because you're just promoting these microbes to help you there. But, you know, as that goes, they disappear after an hour or so, but I'm wondering what this is. This is, you hit it right on. You're a smart woman. It is candida, but I say it's also on top of lymph. I've always had painful menses. It has always improved a bit since going vegetarian and vegan, which it always does. You know, it shows you what proteins do to you, even with your monthly cycles, how they can make it more painful, more odorous, more bleeding. Absolutely. All three of those things. Always have had to take painkillers. That's sad. Yeah, turn yourself totally around, honey. You won't have to do any of that anymore. I have weak knees. Yeah, I've seen that. Also congested lymph and acidosis. Well, some genetic here. Which from the same thing, though. They also hurt when I go jogging and do some, yeah, absolutely. And don't forget that parathyroid. That's why I wouldn't go jogging right now. Get what I'm talking about? Or you're going to lose your knees. And it's like, you can wait until you fix some things and then jog all you want. You know, it's smarter, you know, because it's harder to fix things sometimes when they're broken down. I have some excess hair as a woman. I think some facial hair on my lower back. Yeah, you could have testosterone. You're a smart woman. And but that would mean your steroids are out of balance, which is be obvious, you know, with weaknesses in the adrenals and in the pituitary. Anything's possible. And I often have growing pains in my legs. Oh, your parathyroid is down, and I think it's down also including from the pituitary as well. Got to fix both of those. I also have bad breath when I eat a lot of fruit. I'm guessing this is my... Oh, this is a good example. She brings an interesting... Let me read this again. I also have bad breath when I eat a lot of fruit. I'm guessing this is my GI tract that needs to be cleaned up. Now, this Evelyne is smart as all get out, I have to tell you. But that's exactly what fruit does. It's astringent. So it's pulling the proteins out of the mucosa, and of course, guess what? You know, you're smelling all this putrefaction in your bowels and stuff. Absolutely. Last thing, I have a lot of freckles, especially on my face, so don't look at mine. And I burn really easy in the face. Pituitary. I really believe that's all pituitary, depending on where you're from, the races and all this sort of thing, getting into genetics, blah, 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 blah. I never did have anybody get rid of freckles on the detox, but I'd like to see that in terms of really, you know, in regenerating the pituitary and all that, what can happen with the pigmentations. At the moment, I remember I told you about the lady that had T-cell lymphoma. And I only had her about 3 or 4 months, and then she cured herself. I'll put it that way. But her hair was salt and pepper. She was in her 60s, I think, at the time. Her hair was salt and pepper, maybe even the 70s. Her hair turned black again and then turning blonde. And she said, you know, I was born with blonde hair. So the question is, under an acidic sky, what, even hair color, is that affected? I mean, I'm just saying, there's so much we don't know under different chemical moons or skies, and especially when we're dealing in this high acidosis we're in now, which is Yam is right. It's from everywhere. manufacturing, it's everywhere. Car exhaust, look at China, and this is so serious. No one takes it serious enough because no one's sitting down with the people, with the folk, and saying, listen, this is chemistry. There's two sides to it. We are now heavily involved in the acid side. In chemistry, acids are considered corrosive. Take a look at the corrosive nature of acids. Look at what it does to fish and frogs in lakes. Look what it does to marine life, and just look around everywhere. Look what it does to plant life. We're talking about in the top of the Smoky Mountains in Kleeman's Dome, where it was destroying even plant life. Yeah, well, what else does it destroy? Cells. So you don't have to wander far. It's just you must understand academics. Sometimes in these cycles, man goes too far in one thing without bringing balance with it. And I do that in my life. I tend to go over too far, and then I pull myself back into balance. Balance, of course, is spirituality. An infusion of spirituality means an infusion of a higher level of looking at things, the ability to look at things from a greater perspective. And the only way you can do that is get a hold of your mind. Your mind's already trained, and it'll keep taking you and creating and taking you away from the consciousness or the awareness you have to control that. Pretty soon you're lost, and hard to control the mind from when you're lost in it. And you can't get over the mind with the mind. The mind can't fix itself. So these are some of the things to think about. That you need those times alone. Those times where you're very alone with the self and you're just observing the consciousness. Matter of fact, if you just sit somewhere like on a beach or somewhere and just play the observation and just be. Practice, stop those thoughts from coming in. Just be and observe. Look at the beautiful water, how it endlessly goes out. Nothing to stop it. You know, like you're looking out over eternity. And let yourself soar and go sometimes. Be the child who allows his imagination soar, but this time don't let it soar. You control it. You surrender to spirit or to the prana or to the life force, which is yourself. It takes a little practice and a little understanding, but we can do that. At the moment, I'm eating raw till 4, vegan, so fruit all day with a bit of green sometimes, and at night a cooked meal. Now that summer's coming, it will be easier too. Yeah, now we just head right off into deeper detox, honey. I'm so sorry for this long. That's okay, but hit it right on. Hit it right on. Because you got a lot of brown to get out of there. And get me a little bit better eye, and just make a note on there to let me see it real quick, and I'll tell you guys if she's got brown eyes or she got blue. Take another look. We'll see. I better tell Chris, sending in better ones for eye color, okay? There you go. Hi, thanks, Zora. Thank you. I love you too, really. I'm one of the people that have a lot of orange in my eye. I've been working with my health for almost 5 years and still can't get rid of that candida. Well, the orange, of course, is sulfur. And of course, it's going to give you a lot of candida. I would say you're probably going to have to saturate yourself with something like Parasite M for a while, but getting the sulfur out is tough. I've always said it's like a glue. And these are the reasons why I say these things, because I've had years of trying to help people get it out. We have people get it out, but it's a slow process. They'll get upset, and you get a little gassy, bloaty when you're going through it sometimes. But GI broom, and get those kidneys filtering so interstitial hydration can take place. Interstitial means around your cells. And of course, this stuff's stuck everywhere in mucus. So you've got a lot of orange mucus that's got to come out if that's the case. And of course, again, I consider it as a spawner of fungus. Yeah, absolutely. But I'll keep on going, yeah, because I don't know anything else, I'll be honest with you. And I do have medical friends. and they have the same problems, and they haven't found an antidote yet for me or for them themselves. We'll soon do some watermelon fast again. Yeah, I think with the GI broom you have a much stronger astringent value, and getting your kidneys to filter. This creates hydration throughout the body, interstitially, and that's how you get rid of things. You get things moving. These things get dehydrated, and particularly sulfur, for some reason, just locks in there like a friggin' glue. Now, remember the story on Goodyear, Charles Goodyear, that he finally used sulfa drugs to harden up his rubber substance to make tires? It took sulfa drugs to harden the tire. Well, if that's the case, why would you, knowing that, of course I had no idea that was the case until I saw it on History Channel, but if pharmaceutical companies knew that, which I suppose they probably did, knowing they have all the brains, right, why would you use something like that? I find it, I don't even know if they realize that it is a cumulative one thing, and that's why people get allergic to penicillin and other sulfa drugs, and of course, and meaning that it's accumulating in people. If you still didn't have the eyes to see it, at least you would say, oh, it's accumulating in people, because you get allergic to something when you have too much in you or an aspect of it. And so detox fixes all that, of course, because you're cleaning out that which is stored in there. Yeah, you're right here. But you explained that the orange is sulfur and it is congested lymph. Absolutely. But I just don't really understand what the sulfur comes from. Where or what the sulfur comes from. Sulfa drugs. Now, people have asked me, if you're raised on well water with sulfur in it, does this create orange eyes? I don't know. Can't tell you. Pretty inorganic. The more inorganic something is, the more it's not going to be bioavailable. It's going to have an accumulative effect. It's not going to have bioavailable means its usability. So its usability could be obviously very low. Matter of fact, it has very little usability, as it seems to lock itself within the tissues of the body. You know about as much as I do about this, to be honest with you. But it comes from the use of sulfur medicines, sulfur drugs. Most of those are in the world of antibiotics, but I'm sure there's a lot of sulfur. And I might add, there's glucosamine, chondroitin. There's a lot of sulfur constituents out there that I believe could do that. I think sulfates of all types will leave sulfur compounds in the body and turn the eye orange. So, and there's a lot of that out there, a lot of that in the foods. Sulfur was considered the wonder healer, and I'm looking at all this coming from the AMA from years, and I'm looking at it, and I just cringe at how much of it is bogus crap. It's freaky. Freaky. Do you get it because the proteins, our tissues, start to rotten in the body? No, this is consumed, honey. Injected, in some way consumed. Orally, injected, some way it's been consumed. And get this, it could have been from your mother who had it. If you're going to spend a little time in your mom, right? Hopefully around 9 months. Well, your lymph system, that I noticed, becomes a lot like mom's, and so you could have got this sulfur while you were visiting mother. You're hooked right to her blood and lymph systems. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I think you're thinking that I'm saying proteins are the sulfur and things like that. No. This is sulfur, sulfites. I don't know what else is sulfur in there. But you look at, let's see here. Oh my God, there's sulfur dioxides. There's all kinds of toxic crap in the air even that we could be breathing to bring that in too from cars and mainly electrical plants and stuff like that. There's a lot of sulfur compounds being used in pharmaceuticals, and they used to treat with sulfur, just put sulfur on wounds, all kinds of stuff like that. So man's had a fetish with sulfur for some reason, and not referring to proteins. But you lock sulfur in with the mucus and all this around the cells, you're gonna, eventually you're gonna damage your cells, and that's just what all this comes down to. Creates big time malabsorption. Or what is it from the congested lymph that creates a sulfur? No, it's injected or ingested from some source or another, because sulfur is just a natural element. Yeah, sulfur is, but when you have it combined in industry, it becomes something else. You have a lot of sulfur compounds in the form of sulfites, like I said. There's all kinds of sulfur, oxides, all kinds of sulfur unions. These minerals union. It's all this ionization, all this movement of electrons, this whole process of whole waxing and waning of positive and negative, and the movement from acid to base all the time. This is just a constant process going on. When that can't happen, stagnation of chemistry happens, and that tends to be on the acid side. Very rarely do you see alkalosis, in my opinion. It's achievable, but we're dealing in extreme acidosis, and if they don't get with that, then they treat with acids. This is why chemo is so deadly. It's nice to see a lot of other people see that, but for those poor folks that walk right up and are used as guinea pigs or for money, there's been way too much evidence to show chemo kills. So what's wrong with the FDA in our country? They're criminal. They're criminal. They've gone criminal. Or they're so dumbed down. That's what I see, a bunch of goons with guns sometimes, and they're so dumbed down, they're willing to come after the folk, which is not a good thing in the long run. Go back to the kings and queens. You don't go after the folk, because after a while the folk don't like it no more. And then you're running out the back door as the folk come after you. You can't be criminals on this planet anymore. It's time we infuse it with a little more love, guys. It is not worth killing people for money. I mean, that's bad karma. It's okay if you guys want to spin here for a while, but there are plenty of souls that need relief from this, and we're here to give them that. It's just, from one level to another, there's, going to be issues. Because sulfur is just a natural element by itself. So in which way do we start producing? We don't produce it. Lots of love, and love from you from Sweden. Yeah, we don't produce it, although we probably do produce fractions of. But no, this is already produced in industry. It's in supplements, everywhere else. But again, I have been asked about, because the more elemental something is, you can understand that the more unavailable. We don't go out and eat dirt, in other words, for our health. And people ask me about, chopped up shells and dirt and stuff like this to eat. It's like, what? Excuse me. Get our head out of our grounds and get it more up into the skies. This is where God is. Of course, it's all over, but this is where, let's get ourselves more evolved up out of the elemental worlds. Because from a spiritual viewpoint, if any of you want to take a trip backwards, I wouldn't suggest going back to the mineral level, but try to have your spiritual guide take you back to the plant level. And then you tell me what you experience and what that's like, just to give some idea about how that would be on the human body. I can only tell you I've been back to a lot of things. A lot of levels, guys. I just tell you. Things can get extremely claustrophobic. Very. This is Maggie. Hi, Maggie. I am almost 80. Woohoo! Go, Maggie, go. I have neuropathy, but I'm not diabetic, and I have never had chemo or any other normal reason for this condition. Oh, but yes, Maggie, we must talk about one word. Acids. That is the word. It's the same thing. It destroys them with chemo or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about acidosis. Whether it's a diabetic neuropathy, it doesn't matter. It isn't the diseases that causes these things. There's no such thing. Look at what's going on when you have diabetes. Look at the fact that your kidney and adrenals are shut down. You're not producing enough cortisol. So you're not, also probably your dopamines are low. So your kidneys aren't filtering well. When your kidneys are not filtering well, what's backing up? Your lymphatic system. Notice that your blood seems to keep fairly clean, though, when the kidneys aren't filtering. It's just your lymph system that gets hit. considering the kidneys filter, what, 30 to 50 gallons of blood? Gets rid of water, but most of the water in the kidneys come from what area of the body? The GI tract. The GI tract, if they hadn't learned that. So, I mean, these are some of the things here you just understand, but it's, your kidneys can stop filtering for years and your blood doesn't get hit. What gets hit? Your lymphatic system. That just happens to be all the tumors, you know, all the acids and things like that. So your neuropathy is coming from stagnation of lymph. It's just location, 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 whether it's the feet, it doesn't matter where it is. It can be neuropathy in the brain. Doesn't matter where this is, you're going to break down cells, whether they're neurons, nerve cells, or whether they're bone cells, or whether they're heart cells or liver cells, don't matter. It all is the same stuff. You don't have to go too far. Health is not a 10-year go to med school type of class. That's if you want to play in Lost Fields of Dreams and World of Diseases and that sort of thing. But I wouldn't advise it any longer because sometimes we're all coming down with so much of these facts on you, and now we're fed up with the FDA coming down on us, so now we have to turn and go after them. So all this stuff's going to start coming out, and you're not going to be able to stop it. This world can't stop truth anymore. Too many of you guys know it. Too many of you guys are doing it, and it's just now a matter of people waking up going, what in the hell has been going on? And when people wake up, it's shocking. It's been hard for me to keep my balance to some degree because of that level. But, you know, working on it. Oh, here we go. I do not have any pain with this problem. My feet started going numb about 8 years ago. Oh, that's horrible. 8 years with numb feet. Oh, honey. I first noticed it between my big toe and my second toe on both feet. At the same time, I started getting a hammer toe. Yeah, that's all acidosis. And your toes can curve, twist, turn, and have a rock and roll time. You don't want that. You know, this is all about acidosis, and you got to pump upwards, and you're 80 years old. So kidney and adrenal, sweetheart, that's what kills everybody in their 80s, 70s, 60s, 90s. So go after your kidney and adrenal glands big time. That'll pick up your neurotransmitters. That'll definitely help the myelin sheath a lot. At the same time, get yourself away from acid-forming foods, grains, goat's milk, all these things like this. Get away from them. Although goat's milk raw probably would be, of course, a little more on the base side, but still, you don't want the mucus from all that. At the same time, I started getting hammer toe. I wrapped my second toe on both feet to brace it in hopes of straightening it out. Yeah, once you get started like this, yeah, your body will twist and turn, but how do you stop it? How do you stop the scoliosis and put it back? How do you stop the mutation of the fingers? Plenty of you YouTubers are already turning your hands straight again. A little bit of work, but it is chronic after all. So, I mean, how do you stop it? Well, you first have to understand what's causing it. Well, that's easy. There's only two sides of chemistry, so you can always apply chemistry to your questions. Remember that. It's that simple. Always apply chemistry to your questions. Then you can go into what system in the body has to be down because of that. You see what I'm saying? And pretty soon your answers are all right there. You didn't need to go to school. You just needed a little information about how your body works, a little information about the two sides of chemistry and how that's very influential to every single action and reaction on the planet or throughout the universes, at least in the physical universes. She's in good health, she says. Yeah, I've gone to a number of physical therapists. Yeah, you can't physical therapy acids out. Matter of fact, you can create more acids by doing that. You've got to really get in, sweetheart, and move your lymph. Restore. So I would do, just at your age, I would do upper and lower circulation if it was me. I would do brain and nerve number 2 if it was me. That's on the side. And I'm going to hit these detox kits. You got to try to get a few down your way. Deworm yourself, by the way. If you're 80 years old and you never dewormed yourself, I deworm myself. It's in the first kit. Get at least that first kit. That's got your liver, that's got your deworming, that's got your bowels, it's got your kidney and your glands. Go after your case here. Look at your blood pressure, sweetheart, at 80 years old. 120/60 is what you're looking for on both arms. That sort of thing. But neuropathy is an acid experience. There's only the other side of chemistry you can blame, and you don't maintain alkalosis that long, nor do you see that sort of event under there, although you can get pretty lightheaded and go into seizures with it. I'm basically in good health, though I do have high blood pressure. Aha! Aha! Well, put the good off of health, because that's a serious problem that they don't get. When you have high blood pressure, what's going on there? You're losing your kidneys. When you lose your kidneys, what do you lose? Your adrenals. When you lose your adrenals, what do you lose? Your nervous systems. But you also what? Back up this massive amount of sewage produced every day by your cells. Head to little pinky toe. So you're prone to have neuropathies not only down below, but where else? Absolutely. And at 80 years old, you don't want to be, honey, where did I park the car? You don't want any of that. So upper circulating nerve, detox the sinuses, get your bowels cleaned up, get your kidneys filtering, get yourself, and you'll push that 100 right out of the way. In full health, sweetheart, in full health. I am very active, work in my yard, my vegetable garden. Sounds like a hell of a woman. I do not formally exercise, except that's enough, though, for you. My questions are, what can I do for my blood pressure, and what can I do for the numbness in my feet? The same thing. You can address both of these problems the same way. Get yourself alkaline, get yourself on a good raw diet. If you have to have some steamed vegetables once in a while, okay. But get yourself on a raw diet and detoxify yourself. Get your kidneys, because detoxification, regeneration. Detoxification first, and that processes regeneration right in. Can't stop it, baby. Isn't that cool? So, fun stuff, fun stuff. Marie, let me see here. Subject, general health inquiry. Message, hi, I'm French, so sorry for my English. I was born vegetarian. I am 62. I am always tired, no energy. What's down? If you're a vegetarian, what can you just about guess it's down where you have no energy? The adrenal glands. Why? Neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. Boop, boop, boop. And, of course, if you were a meat eater, you wouldn't feel that. Why? Neurotransmitters. Same reason. It's just that meat has them in it. From the slaughter and just from the daily life of the animal, but then slaughtering, most animals are aware their time is coming. I know plants do, and they look forward to it. You'd be surprised. Getting back into some of these states, you might find some interesting things. You can visit places. You'd be surprised. You can visit some things. But with that said, meat eaters have neurotransmitters, but here's the problem. Taking neurotransmitters through your foods is as bad as taking hormones and steroids through your foods. What's going to eventually happen to the glands that need to supply these hormones, steroids, and neurotransmitters? Yep, down they go. And this is a big problem. You don't want that. I mean, that's it. So you're fatigued. That's your adrenal glands. Just because you're vegetarian doesn't mean anything. Raw foodists. Vegetarian means nothing. Matter of fact, you know, sometimes vegetarianism, you grab the cheeses and the grains and the beans. It's all toxic stuff. You got to become a raw foodist. Even if you have some steamed vegetables in your life, so what? You can still consider yourself a raw foodist. You know, that's where your passion is. That's where your love is. But that's where health is. That's where vitality is. The vitality is in with the living, not in with the dead. If you have to have some dead just for balance, I'm just saying. You don't have it. Who cares? But go raw and detoxify yourselves. Always go that route first. Detoxify yourselves, regenerate what you need to, and have fun. If you have to taste something for taste, I like to taste different things. Who cares? I don't care. If I have to spit it out, if it's nasty, okay. I like to taste things just for the taste. We're here to experience. Funny. I try to eat raw the more as it is possible. I adore my God. What plant do you recommend me to start with? I like to listen to your videos. Marie, I would, if you can afford the detox kits, that's where I'm going to put my money and my focus, because they're all geared for you. If not, we have different levels of that you can cut down. Even the Fab Four, you want to get into always, each and every one of you, always start with the doorways. Always. I don't care if you have something as simple as shyness or something as bad as having tumors and raging acids burning you all through you. Doesn't matter. You have to start opening up and hydrating your body. You have to start getting your body out of acidosis. Doesn't matter the location. You have to stop your body from this acidosis, and you will find that starting in your weaker genetic areas. That's just the nature of it. Jensen talked a lot about that. These weaker areas have a compromised blood and lymph flow. So go and head off into these. You're looking for kidney filtration. And I know this is, for some of you, boring and redundant. I don't know what to do about it. This is me trying to help the cases. And for some of you, it's all about the cases and what we do with these cases. The health part, to me, is simple. It's just over and over again. It took a lot of years to get to simple, because my mind doesn't work that way. My mind is one of those that gotta know. I gotta know. I'll read, study, overview, I'll do what I gotta know. If it's a subject matter I want, I gotta know. And I tear it apart until I get everything I need out of it, as far as I can get it. What's true is kept and looked at, what's not is discarded. That's the way we are. I'm glad you love your God, as all should, in that it's nice to be in love with each other. So all I can say, honey, is get in there. You got good English. Get in there and detoxify yourself and pull yourself out of this. Go into the kidneys and adrenals. And I would do a glandular. You probably have low blood pressure. I'd do a glandular of about 400. If you have anything below, let's say 105 or below, I would do a 400 milligram adrenal glandular. And if you had anywhere about 110 up, probably a 200. Even if you have high pressure up there, 150 or something. Can I be a fruitarian with acne? Won't the sugar give me pimples? This is Josh. So I've only yesterday began watching your videos, and I've got to say I want to begin fruitarianism right now. Well, Josh, it can make it worse. Only it's not the sugar, it's the astringents. Now, you've got to remember, fruit sugar is the best sugar on the planet, which is fructose, glucose. This isn't high fructose corn syrup or any crap like that. Don't get confused. You know, man tries to confuse people. It's the negative forces that would like to get you away from fruit eating, because that's what builds your positive side. That's what builds your awareness. So there's a lot trying to destroy that. It's like, yeah, go ahead, or you won't stop it. When you're getting into these higher levels of feeling good and loving yourself and everyone else, and the fruits love you back, you feel that. The tastes are so good. You know, it's tastes. And when you see how good you feel, it doesn't matter if you cheat once in a while, who cares? But what's your primary food source? You know, but when you're detoxifying, these are special times, and you have to get up to these higher levels. That's all I can say about it. And a lot of times your skin will explode because you're opening the doors. You're putting more energy and nutrition in your body, and your body's going, let's clean this stuff out. And out it goes. It goes out the skin, it goes out the pee-pee, it goes out the nose, the ears, vaginal, rectal, or any other hole that might be created. Remember, I've told you people I've detoxified people so fast their skin split open and tumors popped out. That's pretty good. So it's interesting how the body wants to get rid of this. Remember what was she, 6 years old, brain tumor popped out in the surgeon's hand. Couldn't believe it. That was pretty good. I only had her on about 3 weeks of total fruitarianism, but it took only about 3 weeks for that to pop out at him. That's pretty good. I'm 19 and have suffered with acne since about the age of 12. Now look how many of you guys that are in your teens and your 20s have this skin issues. And it's just all lymph toxicity within the body. And it's sad stuff, because you got to remember your glands are down more than anybody else's as well. Your thyroids are down, your adrenals are down more than your parents, because you're in the downline. And you're in a downline in a very, very dark period of time on this planet, guys. And all I can tell you, keep your heads up, go for the light, go for spirituality, go for the unknown. You know, seek more than what you're experiencing on this planet. Get away from the desires of having houses and boats and cars and all this stuff like that. Put your real money on consciousness and on awareness, things that give you satisfaction and make your heart pound with love and joy, things you can't take away from someone because no matter what situation you're in. That's your survival throughout eternity. Your toys are your toys. Play, have fun, let them go. Who cares? They're just toys. Hold on to them and they can burn you. I've been reading Mike Walden's Acnenomore book, which, don't get me wrong, has helped me a lot by educating me to eat 75% raw food. Oh no, there's a lot of great books out there. And a lot of people with this, absolutely. A lot of natural hygienic books and stuff like that out there that are good on raw and stuff, absolutely. We don't claim to be the only ones. However, there are a lot of supplements and only one fruit per day. Yeah, I disagree with that totally. Allowed due to sugar. You know, this is where these people are confused. And I find this kind of interesting that practitioners or people that write books would be confused about the type of sugar that fruit have. Not good. And you don't blame sugar on acne anyway. That would be a huge mistake because sugar has nothing to do with that. You know, sugar is carbon, and carbon is burned as fuel. Too much fuel, of course, too much carbon stored as fat. Or glycogen. So all I got to say is that you're blaming a fuel when it's a lymphatic. This is a sewer system problem, not a fuel problem. So as you can imagine, 75% raw veggies is not very fun, not at all. Not very at all, and that's why. And that's been my point. We're not herbivores. We're frugivores. And if we choose to mix it up, who cares? But when you slip off of that diet and you go down toward the same foods that got you sick again, you're going the wrong way, and you'll find out, or those will find out that it do that. You know, people have tried already to go back. Real hard to do that. I hear the stories. I recently stumbled upon the fruit diet and now see that it is curing acne along with absolutely, well, everything a person could have wrong with them. Absolutely. I've done this for 45 years almost now. So, I mean, it's not like I'm a stranger to this. I mean, I've worked with this all my life. And so our reputation been out there for years. We just, and it's just that it's truth, guys. It's just that it's truth. We can argue the fine points, yada, 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 okay. But we're frugivores. You can't deny that anatomically and physiologically. Sorry. There has been no adaptation change to making us carnivores or omnivores, actually. I have not seen the body parts change or adapt in any way to that. And when we go back to omnivores eating, kicks our ass bad. Let me see here. I am now accustomed to strictly mung beans and one serving of cooked sweet potato and cooked veggies a day. Good lad, my friend. I don't think I'll struggle with cravings at all. In fact, I'd much rather only fruit than what I'd eat. And I'd do all fruit then. All fruit. Our problem is getting quality fruit. When you're standing in Indonesia or you're standing in Costa Rica eating on some of these incredible fruits and someone is saying fruit isn't good for you, it's kind of a joke. The joke's on them. The problem with it is we in the States, we in different countries need our agricultural departments to wake the frig up to what man really needs and start getting this in the consciousness of growing fruits and vegetables. It's no brainer. It's in the news all over the place. Even the pharmaceutical companies are using fruits and vegetables, primarily fruits if you hadn't noticed, in their commercials. Like the Ensure people, give me a friggin' break. Or you'll see it in a lot of pharmaceuticals. You'll see a bowl of fruit on the table by two people talking. Oh, these guys aren't stupid. You know, the subconscious in identifying, oh, this must be good, there's fruits, you know. I mean, did you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of crap out there, and we need to set it right as a group. We need to become one of the most powerful pro-advocate groups out there. Or how do we change people? How do we bring a higher level of understanding and truth out there where those suffering have a remedy? So many, think of how many millions are suffering that have no clue, just one, medical. That violates all laws of life, is there's not just one modality. That is not only a major antitrust violation in this country, but that's setting up dictatorship in one healing modality that kills 97% of the people that use chemo. And let me tell you, there's a lot. When you start looking at the fatal events of all these pharmaceuticals and adding them up worldwide, it would shock the average person. How bad is it when Consumer Reports right on the front cover puts protect yourself from your hospital stay? Last year, 440, basically a 500,000 died from just hospital errors. When you start adding up the deaths, it's astronomical. And naturopathy hasn't had one recorded death that I know of in many years, and neither has homeopathy. If they had, it's probably under the wrong, been blamed for something that they couldn't control. That's pretty bad when you're viewing an extreme killing machine against those that do no harm. That's how dumbed down we are. And that's how arrogant and egotistical they are. No offense, but this has got to change. And we're the only ones to infuse it. And we can infuse it with love. You know, I get a little raunchy here sometimes, but when you have to see the cases we have to deal with, after a while it stops being funny. Especially with the kids. It stops being real funny. There's real serious stuff out there, and it gets you. But, you know, we all together working as a team, we can correct this and open up people's hearts and their awarenesses and save the kids and make for a good place to stay. There's always going to be the negative stuff and the negative karma ran off and stuff. That's always going to happen that way. What we're building today will be a while, you know. But so many people are turning on with the raw and getting their health back. It's so rewarding to see you guys out helping people and what we've got planned for the not only the Costa Rican project, but you know, this association or society we want to really hands-on. We want to be able to go into courts for you, supply the attorneys for you, protect you as a parent, because this killing machine is going to stop. And it's, we're going to take care of the judges too, because we know RICO Acts, we know how to write the RICO Acts, and I don't know about other countries and stuff, but whatever we have to do to change man, we need to do that. So if we all feed into one big group and have very like-minded sentiments, we're going to do it, you know. So there'll be different aspects of this. We'll have the detoxification centers and regeneration centers where we can regenerate. You know, of course, our mission is going to be to train the world on raw foods. And the fact that detoxification is their doorway to well-being. And get out. And there's so many facets to this, from turning on the world to organic growing in pyramid greenhouses and things like this. This is what we need, Yam. Instead of complaining, why don't you be part of that and help us to get the world into putting fruits and vegetables everywhere? I'm sure I know where you're from, and you could certainly help your place to do that. Let's see here. Yeah, going on here. There's only one problem. My understanding is still minimal, and I'm scared that if I do this, the sugar in the fruit will cause acne. It's not the fruit, the sugar in the fruit, my friend. It is the astringents. Astringents start turning everything on. It starts pulling and drawing. Well, consider your skin as your largest eliminative organ. You eliminate acids and wastes and gases from your skin. And any day you can see it coming off of your skin. So your skin is an eliminative organ. What happens when elimination ceases from those tissues and stagnation begins? But of what system? See, you have to understand what system your integumentary system is tied to. That's your sewer system. That's the lymphatic system. And you have the skin, which is dubbed the third kidney, and you have two, some three, some only one other kidneys to help you. Right kidney drains right side of the body, left kidney left side, lymphatically speaking. So think, why do you have two organs in your body? Medical doctors say, oh, this gives you plenty of... Boy, if I only knew. We need all the kidney power we can get, not less, more. So you are constipated in a way of looking at it, my friend, lymphatically. And when you go to open that tree up, that constipation up, that's called rehydration. So you're rehydrating to open up this stagnant anionic environment that acidosis has created. By creating a more cationic environment, which is one through hydration and electrolytes, now you start hydrating and mobilizing fluid. And then your viscosity of fluids are more mobile and start moving. With the astringent values, this is why you see very little help from vegetables. Their astringent values are low. Even in the sweet fruits, detox can be lower than in your sub to acid sides, which are your more watery fruits. And it's just that it's going to clean you. Well, when you're opening your doors, you're going to see more acne. What are you seeing? The acne is a word they use for a disease. That's not what you're seeing. What are you seeing coming out of your skin? What's the real word for this, guys? Sewage. Acid sewage from the cell waste and byproducts. This is what you're seeing come out your skin. It's why it has a blowback on you. It's burning you. Generally, you have low thyroid where you can't sweat or open up enough that skin. But also check the other two kidneys. Hopefully you have two. They're not filtering at all. Check them out. Check your urine. Look at it. Remember the charts we show you on kidney filtration. See all the sewage in the urine here. That's what we want. But yes, you're going to open up. But that's a positive thing. It might not feel it or look it, but you're hydrating. You're getting things on the move. You're cleaning. And in the process of cleaning, sometimes it isn't pretty. Hello. I say we're so dumbed down that we expect that everything is going to be a ride on Fifth Avenue when we go into our body and do things. What? And for those practitioners that don't understand this, and I'm saying this to even medical doctors, get your shit together and start learning what we're up against. Instead of playing these little games that you're playing, costing all these people money for supplements they don't have and getting them nowhere. Understand detoxification and you'll understand the journey to Wellville. And detoxification means you could get skinnier and your skin could explode. Thank you. At least things are coming out. You can get mucus, cold and flu-like symptoms, aches and pains, absolutely. You can cough up tumors out of your mouth. Absolutely. That's all good stuff. This is all good stuff because where is it leading you? It's taking you to Wellville. Your train is driving into Wellville, my friends. That's all. But there's a process to get there. People have to get with that. I mean, excuse me? So there's a process, my friend. Don't worry about what you see. Go after that. You're not about carbon. You're about proteins. You've got to get these out of the body. These are acids. Get your kidneys filtering and take a huge burden off your skin. So I would hit with the two kidney formulas, the adrenal formulas, and go into my kidneys. You could use the skin formula too, but go after your GI tract. Go after your eliminative organs and get them to start eliminating. That's key. The same thing with bowels and everything else. We want to eliminate as well as we want to assimilate. And as well as we want to consume. We want all these processes to work because when we do, our vehicle is of a fine nature. It'll help us. It'll take us anywhere we want, pretty much. Can't fly, but you can fly outside of it. So I'd go for this, my friend. Jump in, Josh. The water's great. If your skin gets that way, use our burn salve. We got a burn salve because that's what's happening. Your skin is getting burnt bad from what? Not alkalis, acids. So use that burn salve to help you. It doesn't stop elimination because any other thing you stop and use, anything you use to suppress this creates an even greater blowback, as many of you already know. And for those of you that have been on steroids, to treat these. Look at Accutane. Look at people have killed themselves, as we all know, right, over Accutane. What in the hell is going on in this world? That's what I want to know. You ever see Fifth Element with Bruce Willis? Well, I feel like that girl sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do. What in the hell is going on here? Hi, Doc. You're a great... Oh, thanks, man. Preach. Father, I have been on a fruit cleanse for 5 weeks now. Oh, that's pretty good. Fruit cleanse for 5 weeks, mostly watermelon, lemons, sweet navel. Sweet navel orange juice! By the way, Barry, my man, those were excellent navels, Barry, my man. Barry is an incredible soul out in Escondido, California, with incredible organic farm out there. Good friend, sweet, loving soul, that man is. One of the strongest men I think I ever come in contact with. Barry, for a 70-year-old man, you're pretty damn strong. And the sugarcane juice. Just had a blood test done, and many things are out of whack. All right, let's look at this. Triglycerides show 160. I wouldn't worry about that. Normal always below 100 for me. Don't worry about that because you're detoxifying. So your lipids you can see lipid panels change a little bit. Do not worry about that one. Creatine raising in a year from 0.82 to 0.86. That's your problem. Now that is where your problem is. You want to get that down to 0.5 or below. Some of the raw foodists are able to get their creatinine to 0.4, and I think that's a good, 0.4 or 0.5 is a good place to be. Pretty much can assume very little breakdown of kidneys are going on, but at 0.8, but you know, the fluctuations of the minor percentage, I wouldn't even give that a thought. I can tell you right now, your bun's at 3, which is real low. That's what you want. Your lab, I'm sure, tagged it at 3. Too bad. That's your urea nitrogens. That's okay. You're not on high protein diets, and your protein will show low. Thank you. So your inflammatory markers as you go on, you know, your C-reactive proteins and all this kind of stuff like that. But your creatinine tells your story, bro, and that is a story of kidney problems. But you're going to see over and over AG ratio 2.6, chloride 96, glucose fasting 93. Those are all great. That's okay with me. I don't know chlorides where that is, if it's a little low or not. But still, your glucose fasting 93. I'm going to say that's probably a little high. You know, but not much, because really, when we see in the low 70s, you know you're heading toward hypoglycemia. You don't feel the power. So I like in the 80s on a fasting blood sugar, to be honest with you, but 93 isn't bad. It's enough to say that I think the problem's in the kidney and adrenals, and your stats here are showing that. Any of these real concern, only the kidney one. Your all that'll balance out. Your bun is supposed to be low like that. You're not on proteins, which that just shows you that when you're on a protein diet, your acids go up. So, and that's not bad. What's your other stuff on there? If there's anything else out of whack, you can show that, but that's not really out of whack. The only one out of whack is your creatinine, and this is not low enough for the lab to tag. Some of your better labs have a 0.99 is low. Some of your ridiculous ones have 0.3, 0.5. It's like, whoa, or 1.3, 1.5. It's like 3, you're at dialysis. I mean, you're at 1 creatinine. Your kidneys are accelerating, breaking down now. And at 0.8, you're getting some breakdown, inflammation in the kidneys, which means what? You're backed up in acids within your own kidneys. Your nephrons aren't filtering like they should. But this is what proteins do, is damage the nephrons, create stagnation just like any place else. I don't want to make this video too long, because I know you guys don't like them too long. Oh, I think some of you are keeping up with Chad and what's going on there. Hell of a father, that's all I got to say. A hell of a father. But that's what I mean. We want a very powerful association. When a judge takes the rights away from a parent, we're going to be on them like flies on you-know-what, right? And there's a way to hold judge accountable, let me tell you. These judges have been getting away with crap way too long. And no judge that rules on chemotherapy can afford to be ignorant. Because when the kids die, parents need to sue the appropriate people. And there's RICO acts to go after judges. And we know how to write good RICO acts. So it's time that we start using the law for our good. And this is all within the statutes, at least in this country. So it's just, there are statutes that protect the private citizen that the private citizen is never told about because they don't want to use against them. But of course, now this is, someone wrote a quad up here. This is Bastien, Bastien. Hello, sir. I am writing because I saw a video of you subtitled in French, an illusion that the disease, well, close, illusion called disease. Recently, you were able to heal through your approach quadriplegia. Now, I myself am a quadriplegic. I do not know if the video was poorly translated. That's what you think. I know and am Hygienism Shelton for more than 3 years. Perfect. Perfect, because now you've got an excellent foundation for the jump off into fruitarianism, because from my experience in quadriplegia, paraplegia, and any other type of MS, Lou Gehrig's, or Parkinson's, that if you want out of your chairs, you got to go to a totally fruit, berry, and melon diet. At the same time, my friend, I'm doing brain and nerve, and I'm doing the circulation formulas. I'm going to move blood aggressively, particularly upstairs. So upper circ and brain and nerve are always my quad and para of all neurological cases. You can also add the lowers. Get your kidneys filtering to get yourself out of the cubitis or anything like that. This will help. Start, I don't know what level you are, a quad. When you are, just give me the level you are, and I'll be able to talk to you a little more about that. The highest quad I've ever worked on, though, is a C3, C4 quad. I didn't get to work on Reeves, although we did give him a video. He just didn't come to us, wouldn't come to us, and too bad. Too bad. But we've been able to get to C3, C4 totally reconnected. C4, C5 is totally reconnected. Matter of fact, we just had, what, a C4, C5 reconnected in a short period. So, but the fact that you've been on Herbert Shelton is natural hygiene, which is raw foods, basically, maybe a cooked meal on Fridays or whatever. Sometimes, you know, people in the natural hygiene slack off, but it is not into the herb side of that, which is too bad. But that's okay, they're into the raw food side, and I'm heavily into the fruit side on that side. But particularly because I've had a lot of experience with neurological cases, absolutely 100% fruits, berries, and melons. What else are you going to support? You're going to support adrenals, right? Because why doesn't tissue repair itself? I don't care if it's nerve tissue, bone tissue, liver tissue. What blocks proper healing and regeneration from injuries in people? What do you think? Oh, you're right. It's always acidosis. It's always acids. Some have same injuries and get up walking and some don't. Mostly you will find just the acidosis from the trauma itself couldn't be removed properly from the lymph system. Remember, the lymph is a trash man. Trash man cometh. And he's going to pick up any damage or any cells that have been damaged. Of course, that's the route they take. Cancer cells in the lymph nodes, we're going to remove the lymph. How stupid. That's where they are. They know where the macrophages are. They know macrophages break down cancer cells. Give me a friggin' break. You know, it's just more surgery, more complication, and of course, generally the death of the person. Then when you start removing your septic tanks out of your body, now you got all these cells that feed their waste into septic tanks that are there no more. So now where do your cells' waste go? Nowhere. That is called lymphedema. You have lymphedema when lymph ain't going nowhere fast. Things swell. And fun does not begin there. Hell begins there. So, my friend, you need to connect here and get on a program, because I get into your body aggressively. I get into the nerves, I get into the brain, I get into the autonomic nervous system, I get into your kidneys and adrenals. I don't know where your spasticity and all these things are here, but I'm hoping, let me give this, give back to, I'll give it to my personal assistant to give you a call. And we have a videotape on 2 quads to call. See if we get a hold of you and whatever. I generally don't call anybody, to be honest with you, because if you want our help, you have to initiate the ask. I don't want to invade anybody's personal space. That's for sure. But don't stay in your chairs. I'm talking to a couple of MS people I know, friends of mine. I haven't talked with you in a long time. Don't stay in your chairs. Year after year goes by and you could be already walking. All right. Claire. Hi there, awesome people. We have awesome people, I think, working for us. Once in a while we hire someone, but they ended up getting flipped. But we have some awesome people, I think. Good people. I mean, we're just all trying to help everybody. I think if you really look at that, sometimes we get screws up in places, but not very often. We've been doing this a long time, so we've got a lot of practices in place, double checks, triple checks. We got all kinds of things out there. So I hope you're all having a good time with this, because we are. And I've got toothpaste coming. I got a totally organic toothpaste coming. You should love this one. It'll really start healing the gums and really help the mouth a lot. And then we've got the baby infant formula. I'm just waiting on a sample. That should be really good. I'm telling you, for infant formulas, I hope we don't build little gorillas, but we're going to build some strong, very aware children. Some of you guys are already doing that with the raw foods and stuff, so my love and help always extends to each and every one of you, always, guys. It's been wild ride, and hope to see you all at our seminars. We're going to put together this big seminar I've been talking about, and we're all in the planning stages, and I'm hoping so. I talked to my friend Mutt the other day, and he's working with Muse. I never heard of Muse. And he's working with one of the Clark brothers, which I loved the Clark brothers when they were together, but I guess they're not together, and this one is going solo. So, but Lang is having some fun with those guys. I've never heard of Muse, but we looked them up. Interesting. So, Mutt always has a way of getting people out there. That's for sure. All right, I am a college student, and I am really trying to go vegan ASAP, as raw as well. Good man, or man? No, Claire. Good lady. My parents think I want to go vegetarian and push me to eat meat and eggs. I don't know why parents do that. Just leave your kids alone. If you want that dead animal and egg so much, eat it yourself, but it stinks, it's toxic, it's constipating. I could just go on and on and on. It robs calcium out of the body, just keep on going. I mean, of all the food sources that are the worst, it is the animal products. You don't need to eat animal products. And when you're off of animal products, how good do you feel? Do you feel the shift? I know you guys do. You do. And if you don't, go have some animal meat and feel the shift. You can feel the shift. It's just another level, that's all. If you have to eat a little meat, just eat a little bit, or eat a little for taste and spit it out. Don't let that nasty stuff go in you. I have, so, I can speak from experience. My dad is constantly asking if some meat on a commercial looks good to me. There are just some souls that are your test. You ever notice that? I have some right now. But there are some souls that are just your test. You can say, you know what, Dad? That looks like dead animal meat to me. It stinks inside of you. It makes you acidic. It breaks down your kidneys. It's been linked to bowel cancer. I don't know how many studies with that. Dad, do you really want me to put that nasty, putrefying, dead tissue in my body? It's just dead tissue and stagnant blood. It's already dead, so it's rotting. It's going slower because we're keeping it cooler. You want me to foul my body up, Daddy? I end up eating chicken or fish because of my parents. I know, I've heard this story so much, and it's, parents. Oh, my God. And I'm a parent, and I never forced my kids. I tried to get them to do raw. I did a lot of research today. It's wrong to not want to eat meat. He said, never mind. He thinks it's wrong not to eat meat. I end up eating chicken, I did a lot of research today, printed it out, and even highlighted it. My dad refuses to read any of it and keeps saying that you can find any point of view about anything on the internet. I love everybody. It's just your dad's got his head up his butt a little bit. No offense, honey, but your dad doesn't get it. He will, if he ever has a stroke or a heart attack and he wants to know what created it, you can go to your proteins big time. So I don't know what to say. Protect yourself, I don't know how old you are, where you are with that, but if you're older, you just tell him, that's it, don't bother me anymore. I'm not going to eat it, so you live your world, I'll live mine. I don't know what to say about that. There's no way you're going to turn his mind around with facts and figures. I can tell you that right now. I know right where your dad is in consciousness, and something's going to have to happen to him, honey. So I would forget trying to convince him it's not going to work and it's going to take stress on your part. Who cares what he thinks anyway? This isn't his world, it's your world. He might have given the sperm so you could have a body here, but you didn't come from him. You're a magnificent, brilliant being that comes out of the worlds of God. You're only using this body. So remember who you guys are, first and foremost. You're not these little bodies. You're magnificent, brilliant beings coming out of the Godhead to experience down here in creation. Remember that. Give yourself due respect because you're all beautiful beings coming down here. We have different bodies, different shapes, different sizes. Okay, that's what makes the world go round is differences, not similarities, differences. That's the beauty of life is differences, not similarities. The same is the same is the same. Look at the car designs. They're all the same. We pride on individuality. That's God. So, honestly, you don't have to read him nothing, sweetie. Honestly, I don't care. It's a fight worth fighting. I told him he could die of a heart attack. He's right. You're right, too. But you're still not going to change him, sweetie. And you don't need to. And you can't feel sorry if he dies from his eating habits. Many people do. Matter of fact, most deaths, if they're not allopathically created, they're diet-related. And most of the deaths of them are going to die anywhere from diet-related problems, except that the pharmaceuticals just speed that up, not slow it down. In most cases, speed it up. Now, if you have a heart attack or something, yeah, we can save you, and yeah, we can put stents, and yeah. But did you get it when it happened? No. And so people go on and live the same lives. I spent a lot of years in hospitals and stuff. For those that get it, that's what we're here for, to infuse the love and awareness in people that will. I think you've done enough Johnny Appleseed stuff with your dad. Now empower yourself and forget about your dad. Let him eat the things he wants. You're not going to change anybody anyway. Change yourself first. Remember that? Put the oxygen on mommy first. Change yourself. Get yourself what you want first. And then if you want to help your dad or mom or whatever, okay. Or brother or sister, whoever will listen. That's the way I was. Whoever will listen, I got a tell to tell. And you guys have a beautiful tell to tell. You have the answers to Wellville. You can help anybody get themselves healthy, happy, and many of you know how to have out-of-body experiences now. You can help people spiritually. You guys are the cream of the crop. I love you all. And so love yourselves too. And give yourselves a good hand because you're putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort into your worlds of health and vitality. When you get that, put your worlds into God. Want to know that which is unknown. You only have to look to yourself to find those answers. I can just tell you that. You are that magic doorway that leads to the Godhead. And we're all there, And so be a way shower. And at the same time, be the knower of life. Because these are just truth. This is all truth, and you can't deny it because no one can prove the opposite. Everybody's doing the opposite, and take a look at what people are experiencing. And with that, people want to go back to eat those foods again. Isn't it funny? But I did. I thought they were healthy. I went back to health food eating. I'll put it that way. But keep yourself free from this world. Play. Have fun. But don't take it real seriously because it's a hellhole right now. And until we infuse more, there's going to be a lot of deaths yet coming and a lot of kids dying from the use of chemo. Just remember, it's all karma-driven. This is how things are paid back and this sort of thing. But it also has the upliftment side, the side that you have to go, oh, no, look at that. How bad is that? You got both sides. The karma needs to run out. But if I can help those souls that are deep into that karma, wind it down, you'll be free faster. And it's also available to you, is to unwind your commitment to what you created and to then set yourself free. And living life from a point of view of freedom gives you joy because nothing ties you down. Your brain isn't locked down to idiocy. You start to see truth, which frees you. It's energetic, so it makes you feel one with all life. And pretty soon you start merging with all life. There's no words to experience the loftiness, the nirvanicness, the blissfulness of these worlds. And that's just in creation. Imagine knowing more about your own self and who you really are. With that understanding, ecstasy rolls through you. So, it's worth it. Always worth it. Let me see here. Hello, this is Caroline. I need Dr. Morse's book. My doctor is looking at my blood test, not my symptoms. Really. And this is common. My TSH is high, but my 13 and 14 are fine. Or T3 and T4 are fine. Can you please help me? I am in Montreal. Oh, I read Dr. Morse's book. Oh, yeah. My doctor is looking at my blood test, not my symptoms. Yeah, and that's the problem, you know, is that they do look at the blood test. Sometimes it gives you a good look and sometimes it doesn't. If your T3 and T4 is normal and your TSH is high, that would be some suggestion, I think, of low thyroid. I really do. Unless you have a little bit of an aggressive or an overactive pituitary, which could give you that, or you've been on something for the pituitary. These glandulars could send your TSH out the roof, but that's just temporary as everything settles down. So if your T3s and T4s, at least you're getting good conversion there, and everything is good from that point of view. But you'd have to look at your eyes and correlate that, because if you see a pituitary weakness, this could be in play here. Or you could have a thyroid weakness and you're bumping your TSH to maintain your T3 height. And it's possible. You know, you can send us your blood work if you want me to and take a look at that. Check your basal temperatures under your arms, because this is testing your thyroid on the job. You want around 98. Somewhere a little below, a little above would be great. Too much below, if you're below 97.5, you're cold. You're low. Even 97.6 is a little low. But you want to be closer to 98, and then you get up too high, above 98, say 5, and then you're in a little bit of a hyper state. So you want to check your basal temperatures. That'll give you some adequate of how they're controlling you. But stats in the body go up and down constantly. Your lipids go up and down. All your stats wax and wane to your activity levels, to your emotions, your driving forces, and things like that. So it's hard to take one test and say, oh, you need some help. And this is the problem with the AMA. You would want to do multiple tests over multiple months to make sure that, because when you start monkeying with the glands, you're monkeying with big deals. And to use hormones or steroids is a death sentence in many ways of looking at it. So I'd be real cautious with that. I think I'll just read another one, then I'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Everybody will be in here Monday. I'll be able to give this to Chris. He can start putting this up if it's not too long, and then I can start on a long, no, I try not to do a long, I can cut these off in about an hour and a half and then start another one, and then he just chops them up. I don't know what to tell you. There'll be a day we won't have to do these, and we'll do other things, you know, live webinars and more things like that. Dr. Morse, thanks so much for your work. Thank you for that too, by the way. And this is Pierre. Hi, Doctor. Let me see. I was prescribed an MRI recently for tension-like headaches. Well, you know this much. If you have tension, you don't need an MRI to see. It could show you things you might not want to see, or it might show you things you should know. But it's enough to say, get your eyes too, so you can look at the head area with that and correlate that with the MRI, because you can do that, by the way. You know, when you're working with truth, you can correlate it all the way down the road. It all fits together. So you can correlate your iris pictures with your MRIs to see where you might have, because weaknesses don't show up on MRIs or any other scan. That's the exclusiveness of the iris. But when they're to the point where they're so dark in the eye, that can be a brain lesion. You can pick those up. But tension is the lymph. Tension is pressure. And you don't want pressure headaches too much. Now, a lot of headaches, particularly frontal, are stomach problems. But pressure from back here, this is the lymph system that builds up pressure in the cerebellum and pressure up in the sinuses and stuff like this. You got to clean your bowels up and get your sinuses running. Get this mucus hydrated so it can start pouring out of your nose and head area. If you get pressure, candle your ears and see if that'll help pull some pressure off. But you might have to do a few, 3 or 4 candles per ear, and maybe more often a little bit, just to help relieve some pressure while you're working on it. Go after your GI tract big time, and go with raw foods, of course, and the fruits, and also with the GI broom and other herbs, and then go after your kidneys and adrenals. These are all the things that lead to the pressures that build up in the body. Why? Because they deal with acids, and acids create water, create edemic needs, and of course when you start getting pressure from this, what happens? Not good. You've got your glaucomic pressures, you've got all kinds of lymphatic pressures there that are not good. And this pressure in the neck and the head, and of course behind it, deterioration because it's acid pressure. Yep. I called my neurologist today to get the results. They saw nothing that could be related to my headaches. However, they found I have a very little cavernous angioma. It's a malformed bunch of blood vessels. A lot of people have those. But with that said, I would look at my parathyroid gland and strengthen up my walls and, take care of the integrity of my vascular system, because you wouldn't want to have an aneurysm in these weaker areas here. Somewhere at the right part of my head. Don't know exactly where for a moment. But you know what? I've had not enough people with these ganglias to work on them long enough to see if the body will chew them up and redo them. But I know that the body runs new neural pathways all the time. So it must be interesting, though, to go after this. Don't know. He doesn't know whether it's genetic or if required in my childhood. It doesn't matter. It would have a genetic twist to it, though, because that's a driving force of these formations of things. And of course, with genetics, then it depends on the type of diet. And generally, when we're young, we're stuck some kind of milky dairy products or some type of Similac or some type of crappy baby food that's all high protein, high lipids. Just the very thing you don't need for any type of problem like this, because they're all calcium suckers or leachers. Well, that then loses the integrity of tissue and growth tissue and stuff like that. So you might look at your endocrine gland, see what else you can correlate with that, get your eye pictures, and that's how you can correlate all these things. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess they won't purpose me any surgery, as it doesn't cause me any trouble, and the malformation is very small. I would deal with that through my body's own health channels. Get yourself cleaned out, because pressure is an acidosis event. Again, the same type of thing that we're all talking about. It just has different faces. And pressure is one of the faces of acidosis. Stagnation of lymph. I was wondering, what were your thoughts on that? Is that possible to regenerate such a thing? And I'm saying absolutely. At the very least, you want to strengthen your vascular walls. These places tend to be weaker areas and things. So strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. And in that, the body might consume and realign or whatever it needs to do. The body forms them as it reforms them and changes them around. It's amazing. But it's sure worth going for, because you want to get rid of the pressure at the very least, because that's not good. That kind of pressure leads to cell deterioration, and that kind of thing then leads to the MACDs, the honey, where'd I park the car, that sort of thing. Also, can I take tinctures such as brain and nerve #2 and healthier upper circuit? I would do that. Because they strengthen tissue. And the circulation formula strengthens circulatory cells, the cells of the vascular walls. So absolutely, I would look at my parathyroid too, just out of the sake of that, even your pituitary. Thank you, massive love from Belgium. Same here, my friend. Back at you. All right, so I think I'm going to leave off there. I will come and finish a bunch of these, try to really catch up here. And that could be a good thing. Ooh, I've got this chart too. I got to take this home and do this. Well, with great love to you guys. I just love each and every one of you. I'm proud to have the privilege of working with a lot of you guys. I'm excited about our new future together, what we're putting together. You guys are, you don't let grass grow under your feet. I get that one. So, really doing well. And so I'm so excited for the future, and maybe this will be just a little better place for people to run off their stuff, and you guys can have a far greater experience in life. For those souls that are ready to come home, this is your time. So get it together, you know, get yourself, be a wayshore. Start getting your consciousness right, learn to work in the moment, get control of that mind, get your body balanced out and healthy. You might have to balance out with foods, getting too high on the energy with foods, and spiritually, it's really a rocket. But, you know, there's a lot of cool things coming and a lot of not so cool things coming. So I love you all. Have a great afternoon, and we'll get some more of these videos out to you. Thanks for being patient with us. Thank you so much. But remember, if you have a problem and it's serious, don't wait till I answer it. Give us a jingle, please. That way we can help you, and you won't have to succumb to something that we could have helped you earlier with. So, we love you all. May the blessings be.